Welcome, friends and family. Super excited to be here with you today with one of our phenomenal new agents, Gage Woolbright. He has now been with us about 90 days. Is that right, Gage?
I'd say right at it.
Okay, but with us now 90 days and has come in, done a really phenomenal job. Of course, come in at the very slowest part of the season. I mean, there's no doubt December, January, February, all those months are a little slow. Coming into March, hopefully things start to pick up in April. So, Gage, thank you for being here today. Tell us currently, how many have you closed in your first 90 days?
Currently closed 6.
Okay, so you've helped
deals.
6 people buy or sell some type of property. Okay, wonderful. How many pending currently?
Right now, currently have 2 pending.
Okay, 2 pending, 6 closed. Top of the mind, I know in 90 days you've talked to a lot of people. How many of those folks do you think are local, and how many are coming from out of state that you're working with currently?
Well, I'd say about half and half, honestly. I mean, quite a few people coming from out of state, and then honestly, just quite a few that also live in the state of Tennessee, but are just wanting to enjoy Cookeville or really Del Hollow Lake and all the lakes around us. Just moving more middle from where they are. So
yeah, because it's filling up in Nashville, Memphis, areas like that. It's starting in Murfreesboro, and it's starting to come here. Okay, great. All right, so Gage, that's wonderful. 6 closed. 2 pending. How many leads are you working with now? And we use the word leads, and that's just kind of real estate lingo. But how many people are you working with right now, Gage, that you feel comfortable may buy in the next 30, 60 days?
Yeah, I'd say at least probably 4 solid ones.
Okay.
And probably 2 more that working on some motivation and credit and stuff.
Okay.
But pretty solid ones coming down the chain. Definitely seen a big difference with the weather change too.
We've almost had 2 pretty days back to back, haven't we?
Yeah, a little windy today, but it'll work.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying, man. Spring, we had one month early this year, early in March, that was really pretty. And I think as a really small team here, we put about 16 under contract that week, which may have been one of our most productive weeks ever.
Oh yeah.
But then it got back, the weather got rainy again and windy, and then it just slowed right back down. I think I felt a little bit of a push again this week. Are you feeling it? Are you starting to see?
It's definitely picking up. You know, a lot more interested buyers. You know, trying to get in before as we all know, the prices are going to start going up. The better the weather is, and the more we come into the summer months, prices will start going up. So definitely trying to also get people to hurry up and buy while they can before they increase.
Yeah.
So
because interest rates are not projected to come down a whole lot this year. Home prices are continuing to go up. So yeah, it's a tough time. Like we always say, you pay the price now or you pay it later. The longer you wait, usually the longer the price goes up. So Gage, for you, one of the big things, I think, one of the fundamentals when you're in a sales profession, and that's what you're in a sales profession. And a lot of people may look at sales and think, well, that's, maybe it's not the best because you're pushing people into things they don't want or talking them into buying things that they don't need. Now, we're in one of the greatest assets that you can ever buy. You and I have had this conversation. Most people, when they retire at the age of 65, if they're a homeowner, they have a net worth of about $400,000, which we know is about the medium sales price for the nation of right now, about $398. And those that are renting have a net worth of about $18,000. So we as Americans, we're not the best savers, but if we put it in a house, at least we got that when we get ready to retire. Now, but so for you, sir, why do you feel like follow-up is so important? Following up with the people you're working with that may be motivated to buy.
Yeah, I mean, I think just showing them that you're going to be there and answer all their questions. I've dealt with actually quite a few people who have left other realtors to come work with me because they see how attentive I am and how I actually respond and answer their questions. It's crazy because to me it feels like the bare minimum I would obviously do for anybody, and they're shocked that I'm responding to them at 6, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. and answering questions and calls.
Yeah.
So, but I think follow-up is probably the biggest thing to stay in touch with your clients for sure.
Yeah, because would you say the odds are that when you talk to a person for the first time, they're not going to buy that first home you show them?
For sure.
Usually it takes 2-3 times for them to go out and get used to a market. And if you didn't do the follow-up, how many people would like you say, just go somewhere else and buy.
Oh, you would just lose them. I mean, that's probably the most important thing. I mean, sometimes you have to text people just for 3 days before you get to meet them once, and then you get to meet them 3 times before you go under contract. So kind of, I feel like there's a big rule of 3 somewhere in real estate.
Yes.
You got to just keep grinding after it. So,
what has been one of the most inspirational or meaningful things that have taken place since you've been in as an agent?
Yeah, really probably the one that closed about 3 weeks ago. I had helped a lady who had went under contract with another fellow, one of our agents, and she was just struggling, first-time home buyer, really had no clue what the process looked like, and really we dealt with kind of a tough lender, I'll be polite and say, and it was just tough to keep in communication with them. So really working her through the stages of getting the lending, and obviously having our transaction coordinator, Miss Renee, help was a super, can't even thank her enough. Definitely helped us get through that, but really it was the most awesome thing to see her at the closing table and how happy she was, and we just got to sit there and enjoy for an hour that she was going to finally have a house to herself, be able to enjoy it. It appreciates in value. The area around it's coming up. I mean, right there in the Lake Tansy area, it was awesome to get to see how happy she was. And then I ended up running into her about a week later doing some showings in Crossville. She came over and hugged me and thanked me. So,
man,
super sweet moment.
Wow, that's awesome, Gage. Now, is it a mother? Single mother?
It is a single mother, and most of her kids are older, but she wanted a place where they could come visit her because most of her kids are in Florida right now.
Okay.
So it was nice to get her a little 2-bedroom place right there on the lake where her sons could come and visit. So,
looking at the statistics right now in America, the majority of first-time home buyers are females. And so this was a first-time home buyer that you helped get into a home. And the cool thing is that, like you said, for this lady, it's a challenge. I'm sure it's hard, especially if you ain't got all parties working together.
Right.
You can have a really motivated real estate agent that's great at what they do, as you are, Gage. You can have a very motivated person that wants to buy the home, such as she was.
Oh, yeah.
But if you got a lender in there or a title company that sometimes aren't really willing to put in the hard work that it takes to get that job done, then it can make it that much tougher. And it sounds like you guys had to overcome a lot of those hurdles to get
I mean, 3 extensions just since I took it over. So that was really the difficulty, is letting the seller know that we really were doing our best, and my clients really did want the house, and that we weren't dragging our feet. So it was kind of that battle, and thank goodness it was an amazing listing agent that we worked with. So
man, what would you say, Gage, has probably been one of your bigger lessons that you've learned? Like if you're 90 days in, a real estate professional, you're a professional in who you are as a person. You're well put together. You're going to give advice to somebody that's just brand new to the market. What lessons would you say that you've learned that will really help them in their sales career?
Yeah, I mean, 2 things. Obviously, you want to develop your way on how to read people, I'd say, first off. I mean, really get a feel for them in those phone conversations and when you're meeting them on how motivated they are. I know we've touched on that in previous videos, but motivation is massive. And then really honing in on who's ready to take that step and getting pre-approved and talking with a lender just to value your time. At the beginning, you want to help everybody and anybody.
Yes.
But you find out real quick that a lot of people can say one thing, but maybe not actually have the pre-approval.
Right.
So you want to avoid wasting your time, I think, at the beginning in order to try to go out there and help the most people you can that are ready.
Now, how would you feel, Gage, if you're 24, you're getting ready to buy a home, and you have a real estate agent ask you before in the process, on the phone, right? That's where you're going to get to know a lot of people. Most people moving here from out of state don't come right into the office. They've called you from wherever they're at.
Oh, yeah.
On a website like Zillow or Realtor.com. And so you're having a conversation with them for the first time. You're going to ask them, have they worked with a lender, or are they paying cash, right? I mean, this is a question that we need to know how to help them.
Right.
Let me ask you, how would you feel if an agent asked you that?
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, as you know, actually, Mr. Duke Davis worked with me when I was 18, and I remember before he showed me the property, he had asked me that question and actually got me in touch with our preferred lender at that time.
Yeah.
And honestly, we started the beginning steps before he showed it, so it really showed me, things haven't changed. I mean, it can be overwhelming at first, but you just explain to them that you're not promised anything. The lender's going to work them through everything just as much as we can and assist them along the way. I think it only deters people if they feel like you're going to just shove them off on a lender and leave them. which falls back to the follow-up being so important, and always asking, do you have any questions that I can answer, and making sure that you get them with a lender that is going to do a great job, like we have here in Mark Anglin.
Oh, Mark's amazing, and this is a guy just like you that will answer his phone at 7 o'clock at night. Of course, me and you were talking at 6:45 last night. I was coming back from a listing appointment, and you know very well that in this profession that when you're in it, you work.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that, one of the other lessons I'd say that if you were talking to a new agent is that you don't turn off. How do you feel about that? I mean, that's a big change for most people.
Yeah, no, and it definitely is. I think it's more. I think it's harder to take time for yourself, or when you do, to try to not answer your phone, because you don't want to miss an opportunity. And you also, we talk about how important follow-up is. Well, it's scary sometimes when you see your phone getting blown up and you are in the middle of something and you can't answer and you want to. So I definitely enjoy that.
That is a challenge. Yeah. And so I want to say this, though, going back to, thankfully, when Duke and you were working together, he of course, is very professional like you, but he knew that was a step in the process to helping you get what you're looking for. So you probably didn't feel put off or weird that he said you didn't know where to start, right?
Right, no.
Yeah. So, and most people don't. When they make that initial call, they really don't know where to start. Now, obviously, if you're talking to somebody that's in their 40s or 50s, maybe they purchased a home or two along the way, and they kind of know where their finances are. But,
for sure.
But a lot of first-time home buyers, even second-time buyers, they really don't know where to start. So they're going to call the agent. They're going to want to schedule a time to go look at the home. And you said this. You said if you were talking to a new agent that was just fresh to the business, that's one of the things that you'd really want to make sure that they have been pre-approved. Because people can tell you anything. Oh, yeah, we're fine. We can get the money. Yeah,
a lot of cash buyers.
Yeah.
The joke.
Yeah.
A lot of cash buyers.
But at the end of the day, when they've had an experience with a good lender, and like you say, you don't just dump them, but you get them in touch with somebody that's going to help them in that process, they feel relieved, probably more than anything, knowing like, okay, this is our budget, this is what we'll be paying a month. I mean, this is just very simple, helpful stuff.
Well, and the greatest thing is you get them with a good lender like Mark, even if they're not prepared right now, ready to go jump, he'll help nurture it with us and say, hey, you know what, let's get your credit up, and we'll look back at it in 2 months, and it costs them nothing.
Yes.
So then 2 months later, I'm staying in touch with them throughout the 2 months saying, hey, can I help you here? Is there anything you need? Have you seen this new listing? Well, then when their credit hits what it needs, we're ready to hit the ground running.
That's awesome, man. Great advice to any new agent. And, being able to run at it full time is a challenge. And I think that we would tell anybody that's getting started, it ain't like you own your business. Right. And it's not easy, and you're going to work late hours, and you're going to work long hours in the beginning. Oh, yeah. It's a challenge, but the cool thing is, and this is what I would tell a new agent, the cool thing is, man, is you're betting on you. And when you bet on you, others will bet on you. And when you believe in you, others will believe in you. And with that being said, because of that, you take a ceiling off. Where you were at prior, you had a great job working at Averett. That was great pay. I'm sure it was a good culture.
For sure.
But there was a ceiling, and you knew that. Even at 24, somehow you sensed that, and you were willing to come out of the wilderness and come in here and bet on yourself. And I know you made a great decision. I believe as you continue to stick with it and walk it out, you'll see that. But the thing is that I think that what will get a lot of people is that they don't realize that when you own your business, it don't turn off at 5.
No.
It still goes. And when you're young and strong and energetic, that's great. And as you get established in your business, that changes a little bit.
For sure. Well, I would say starting out of the very first, as you were saying that, it reminded me, I think the biggest characteristic you need to have, like, don't let anything we're saying deter you from getting in. But the number one thing I'd say is definitely self-motivated. You got to wake up ready to hit the ground running, and you might be hitting the ground running for a long time. You might be in the car for a while too.
Yeah, so, me and you've joked before, but man, if you ain't kind of negotiated a deal or done something by 9:30 a.m., you may not really be in the right business.
No.
This may not be the sport for you.
And the greatest part is if you have, you're probably in front of a bunch of agents that have been in the game for a long time.
Right.
So hitting the ground running in the morning's good, but knowing you're going to have late nights, it's easy to think you work for yourself so you can do what you want, but that's also not what brings in the money.
That's a myth, right? That is a myth, and you're right. 74% of all agents did 2 deals or less last year in the real estate profession. Over 1 million real estate agents, 74% did 2 deals or less. When I say that, Gage, what's that make you think?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't imagine doing 2, honestly. I mean, it has to be just friends and family. I mean, I would love to think that most of them are retired or, trying to get out of the game, but I know most of them are active and
average
doing what they
age
can.
Of real estate agents in the United States of America was 58. I believe it's now 55.
I remember seeing it drop down a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's lack of motivation, and some people have not seen the big picture of what's capable or being content with little. That's true as well.
Yeah, and if you were doing it part time and you did a couple of deals a year, but again, 74% 2 or less. If you cut that number down, I believe it was like 46% did 0 deals. So unfortunately, there's maybe a lot of agents out there, but a handful that are doing it at a high level that are very skilled. And it's hard to get really good at anything if you're doing it a little bit here, a little bit there. To you, I wouldn't say you look at real estate as necessarily a hobby. I mean, I think it's your lifestyle.
Right.
And you kind of got to learn how to put that suit on and go to work every day. And that's what you just said.
For sure.
You got to wake up motivated. You got to go to bed hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And every day you wake up, you start at 0. Those are champions' words. Culture's a lot to do with life. Being in an environment where there's certain levels of accountability, there's certain expectations, that I had to set that up for myself. Because, Gage, at 24, I was not even half as motivated as you are. And so I knew that for me, I had a lazy side to me. And if I didn't kind of build some accountability, build some a big enough reason to get up and go to work every day, that I just wasn't going to do it. And so in that process, we built something that people can come into and hopefully be successful and go to work. And you're proof of that, my friend. So please tell me, what do you recognize the core values that we have here? Do you know those core values?
Yes, I do. I'm still around, but I know their commitment to personal and team growth, solutions driven, and then servant leadership.
Yeah. So commitment to personal and team growth. Obviously, we believe that if you're not willing to invest in yourself, then you're probably not going to add a lot of value to the team.
For sure.
If you're willing to invest in yourself, then you're probably going to be somebody who adds value to others, right? And you're betting on yourself. You believe in yourself. Solutions driven. My wife Lindsay taught me a long time ago. She didn't want me bringing her a ton of problems. She wanted solutions, and so that being around that kind of people, what I've learned is that sometimes A players have a hard time hanging around C players. It causes friction, and if you have people out there that are pulling their weight and then some, and then you got somebody that's not pulling their weight and will let you, that causes disruption. So having people that are naturally solutions driven is very important. And then last but not least, Jesus knelt down. He washed his disciples' feet. I think that servant leadership is probably one of the most courageous and most attractive qualities in a person. Of those 3, sir, which one do you feel like you connect with the strongest?
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly probably say solutions driven. I'm quick to try to find a solution to any problem that arises. Sometimes I have to work on that as well, and not being too tough on myself. But really, I would say being solutions driven. And it's funny. Growing up, going to school, you set goals, and then I feel like you get into your adult life and you kind of forget about it, or you think it, but you don't actually write it down. And really, coming into here at Elevate, y'all are very big on setting goals and writing them down. So right now, I have solutions driven. I need the results to match my goals of the goals I want to achieve.
Amen.
And being able to read them out loud and everyone keep me accountable for them is just great.
I love it, man. Thank you for sharing that. So solutions driven, a lot of times people that are naturally solutions driven probably didn't have a lot of things just necessarily. I'm not saying this is everybody, but what I've seen, the ones that will kind of come with solutions and not problems generally didn't have everything handed to them. Like they kind of had to figure it out the hard way. Could you share with me just a little bit about your childhood growing up? What was that like for you? Were you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like I always make the joke. I was raised by a preacher and a drill sergeant. I was adopted by my grandparents, as you know. So I mean, I had a very, very good upbringing, but I was raised, I would say, more along the lines of what you or maybe older people might be raised like.
Right,
And that's a great thing now that I'm old enough to see kids my age and the way they act versus how I act. So I was always taught to work hard. Nothing's going to get handed to you in life unless you go after it. So self-motivation's always been a big thing. I'm always ready to hit the ground running, and I know what I want. I want to be a millionaire in life. It's going to happen. So
Amen. You so growing up, being raised by older people, you see that's the thing. Like, sometimes mom and dads will spoil their children a little bit. They'll give them everything they want. It's hard to say no, and you'll be a dad before long, and you'll see that. But the truth is that when you're raised by grandparents, and sometimes grandparents will rock their
grandparents will spoil you unless they adopt you.
Unless they adopt you. But if they adopt you, then they know they're putting you out there in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And so they probably were a little bit more patient, didn't just do it for you, asked you enough questions to get you to figure out how to do it.
For sure.
Thus your self-motivation, thus your work ethic.
And my problem solving. They definitely taught me how to solve problems by myself, You can always ask someone to hand you something when you're short, or you can figure out a way to get it.
I was thinking before the interview, Gage, and we're just about to wrap this up, but before the interview I was thinking, what is the greatest value Gage adds to the Elevate community? And I came in here with that thought in mind. I was like, what's the greatest value? And I already had it in mind before me and you started speaking, but I'm going to add two more to it now. My first one was your work ethic. I see a Navy SEAL in you, man. You go to work every day. You take your work seriously. Somebody once told me I took my work seriously, and I thought, is he kidding me? But I love what I do, and I'm so passionate about it. Maybe I don't take it serious like I see you take it seriously. I don't feel like I've ever took it. I do some days. But you take it seriously. Like for me, it was kind of fun, and it was more like a playground. Now at 48 and a budget of $65,000 a month to run a company, I can't be just playing no more. You know what I mean?
For sure.
We got to get out there and get it. Things have bills got to be paid. So I feel that pressure, but I still love what I do. I love the people I do it with. But I was going to give you that, man. Work ethic is what I see in 90 days you have brought to this team. Now,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And then from sitting here and talking with you and listening today, I'm going to add two more to those. One, self-motivated. It is great to have a work ethic. I've seen people who are busy for the sake of being busy, and it's like at the end of the day, what did they really accomplish? You know what I mean? Like they were real busy all day. They were moving all day. But if you look back, was there a great accomplishment? So a work ethic is phenomenal, but you put a self-motivated person with a goal to go get it, then now you're very intentional. So I see that self-motivation, being intentional to achieve your goals, that's helping you be that serious and helping you keep that work ethic, which is amazing. And then thirdly, solutions driven. When you told me that was your favorite, if I had to guess growing up, you've probably always been somebody that's tried to help other people, probably been the guy that when your friends were in a bit of a pinch, you could come in there and kind of give them a hand.
Oh yeah. Still that guy.
And still that guy, and that fits you well in this profession, because now you're helping people that need to buy a home, and it's not like we're the hero. We both know that's not the right approach. We're the guide, they're the hero. But we get to help a lot of people be a hero, and that makes us feel good.
It does, and I believe all good things come back around.
Amen.
I don't ever reach out and help somebody expecting something in return at all. But all good things come back around. So,
like today, me and you both know you would not be a millionaire helping the lady that you helped get that home in the lake, right? I mean, that was a peanuts deal. At the end of the day, by the time you put in your gas money and your time, you might have not even made money. But you didn't do that for that. No. And because of your belief that if you help enough other people get what they want, it will come back to you, then you're right, it's going to come back. You'll be a millionaire. But you'll do it the right way, in a way that's honorable. And when a man like you gets it, and it's hard, it's not easy. When money comes in your life, things can change. The challenge is staying humble and staying grateful, and wanting, 5 years from now, still being willing to help out people. And that's how you check yourself, and that's that servant leadership piece. So, brother, thank you. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for the value you add. We appreciate you, Gage. Appreciate you all listening. Hope you get some value out of this. Thank you.
Thank you.